And we are back, this time with a Liam Picks Fights reaction to Derek Brunson submitting Darren Till in the main event of UFC Vegas 36. And I got to say, this has been an incredible back through and follow you guys as well. So I appreciate everybody for rocking with me. And my man, AJ Schullo, going to rock with me as well. Came through for the breakdown tonight. And we're going to react to this card, man. It was a good one, in my opinion, AJ. Before we break down that insane main event, how did you feel about the card overall? Did you think it was a fun event?
It was a super fun event. I actually missed the Pimblett and Roundtree fights. I had to go back and watch some highlights, but yeah,
they were fun.
They were really
until the end. Until the end.
I got to go back and we watch them, man. And I got to be honest, it was, for 9 fights. I feel like when we set our expectations low for some of these fight night cards, they really blow them out of the water. I remember Strickland versus Hall. Everybody was poo-pooing the card and delivered. So I never, ever, disregard a UFC card because, I mean, at the end of the day, would I rather not have a UFC card? So I'm never going to poo-poo it. But this event stood out amongst the best of them. Great fights, all 9 of them. Lots of finishes. I don't know how the performance bonuses are going to get distributed, but I think you have a few different candidates. And yeah, I'm excited to dive deeper in them with you.
Absolutely, man. If I could make an early prediction, I think it's going to be Paddy Pimblett and Derek Brunson that get those performance bonuses, man. And Paddy Pimblett for delivering on the talk, right? That was impressive to me. I really was impressed by that performance. Granted, he had, that scary moment. That was something that we were all like, but he was able to fight back, deal with some adversity, find a knockout. I was not expecting Paddy Pimblett by knockout. So, man, I thought that he really delivered in a big way in that spot. So congratulations to him. Didn't have any action on that one, but just thought it was, a really impressive performance. The only action I had was a prize picks play on Paddy under 10 minutes. So that came through. But unfortunately, the other fight that we were talking about, Modestas Bukauskas, that you missed, he went under the strike total. I thought he was going to go over the strike total in that fight. So I expected that fight to go to decision. It ended in a really nasty way. When you go back and watch it, you're going to see he gets his knee kicked out like badly by Khalil. Khalil went for the same strike twice in a row. Second time he timed it better, and it was just a wrap for his knee. He literally just yelled and it was over. I was like, just a disgusting end to a fight, but it was a great one. And want to shout out my man, DFS by the numbers, in the chat. He was on the show this week as well. I know he was cashing some bets early in the night. Don't know how his night turned out overall, but appreciate what he's saying. Congrats on the huge night. Appreciate it, man. I am always rooting for my man Brady. Comes with sharp reads, always putting out content. So hard to do this on a week-to-week basis, as you can attest to, AJ. And especially if you ever get in a rut, where you're not winning, it just can feel like the freaking monkey is on your back. So what a fun event and what a good night. And even when I'm celebrating a win tonight, I know there's been so many nights when you've been celebrating a win, and I've been in the batter's box waiting for next event. So, do you want to discuss first where you had some action on this event?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll start with my first bet and work my way on up. I had 1.5 units on Marc-Andre Barriault at minus 135. I thought he was going to win a
good read and a very good line.
Thanks. Yeah, I thought he was going to win a bit more comfortably. I actually thought he was going to win round 1, but I can't get too critical of my own read there. Played out how we thought, just much higher output, nearly 3 times the amount of offensive output in a wide cardio gap. So I pretty much saw what everybody else saw. I did see some sharp people on Longi and Bula, so much respect to them. It's not like it was a bad bet. I'm not trying to naysay their bet or anything like that. It just goes to show we all have a different perspective. We make our decisions based on our perspective and how much we're willing to risk, as we got on this podcast before. And that's a point I would like to, I know I talked about it with you a couple minutes ago, but something that I like to practice, and it's kind of more so brought to light. It's always been something that has been in my fundamental system, but I never bet something that I'm not okay with losing. Obviously, your goal isn't to lose, but the amount of stuff I risk I'm okay with losing, right? It's not like, oh, if the losses start to hurt, that's when I would come to the realization that I'm risking too much, right? Because this is betting. I realize that there's more important things, amongst that, I could allocate to, time wise, just energy, anything. So, by being so emotionally attached to these bets, whether it's, we talked about beforehand, too high, too low on the wins and losses. I don't like to do that. Like you said, you got to, kind of keep your emotions in check and be like, okay, this wasn't my night, but, it was just one event out of how many we got in the year. So back on track, though, I did like Molly McCann at underdog price at plus 100. I was okay with regardless of the result. Close competitive fight on the strike numbers. I was happy to also coincidentally get Kim on her over strike prop on Prize Picks that cashed rather comfortably.
Nice.
I do think that there's yeah, you love Prize Picks too, and maybe we could talk about that a little bit. I think that there's a big long-term edge in Prize Picks. I think that the people that haven't signed up to Prize Picks already are missing out big. You get a sign-up bonus, and I know you could attest to this too. They are awesome. Like their customer service team, I've had nothing but positive interactions with them. An Atlanta-based company. I mean, this is like people want to get on stuff before it gets like really, really big, and this is already growing, and this is going to get even bigger. So like, Prize Picks is awesome. That's all I'm trying to say.
Absolutely, dude. And I was feeling so good about the reads that I had. When I put together my Prize Picks, I was looking at Darren Till on the under for the strike count. I was looking at Darren Till on the under for the fight time. And I was looking at Jonathan Martinez on the under for the fight time. So unfortunately, I ended up losing out on the Jonathan Martinez fight. That fight ended up getting scrapped pre-event, unfortunately, but yeah, man, absolutely. I had a lot of fun. I put in another entry this morning on Paddy Pimblett, the under for time in the cage. So hit the under for the Darren Till strike prop, even though it had went down significantly since I had talked about it on the show. Because that's the thing, if you get in on the Prize Picks spots early in the week, you can really get some value when they first drop those numbers, the stat projections. You could really snipe them early, but as these sharps get involved and start to, put in that information, the line can move just a little. So got to keep that in mind. The earlier you get in with your entry, the better. That's what I always say. But I couldn't agree more, man. What was the next fight you had?
Yeah, so working my way on up the card here, I did have two final plays on the main event. Actually, in the meantime, I cashed a live bet on Julian Erosa there after round two. Somebody asked me, yeah, somebody was curious to like, did you score round two for Erosa? And I'm like, I don't really know, but I think that there's a much stronger argument that it's either 2-0 Erosa or 1-1 than it is, Jourdain is up. And it was clearly he was winning the fight up unless he got hurt. That's always a sweat with Erosa. I just threw a unit on it. And then he won the fight flawlessly in the third round. But then working our way on up to the main event, I did have Darren Till 1.5 units, his KO and decision line at minus 150. And I did have 1 unit on the KO prop. And, I'm, again, anybody that was on Brunson, my hat's off to you. It was just, not the best read by me. On the positive side, though, as you said, another angle to exploit in Prize Picks, under 68.5 significant strikes for Darren Till. I had that all over the place. I had that in all of my entries. Like, dude, This is what we're talking about to everybody listening. Like, this is a big edge. Darren Till had not topped 49 significant strikes in his entire UFC career, yet this prop was set at 68.5. This is what we're talking about. This is just one thing. You know what I mean? So get it while it's hot. Again,
promo code Liam. You could go get 100% deposit match up to $100. So guys, Prize Picks, check it out. Get it while the going's good. That's what I'm saying. I'm right there with you, AJ. That was an easy snipe on Prize Picks. I felt like, especially for a main event fight, that one felt like a gift, man.
Dude, yeah, it's all about exploiting those younger markets. Even the live betting market, I still feel is in its infancy. Dude, if you're getting guys like Vince Pichel at plus 165 after round one and Julian Erosa at plus money after round two, after they're clearly winning the fight, like that goes to show that there's a long-term edge there. And it's not about whether or not it works out or it doesn't, but these are spots that they have value. Just like when I use DraftKings Sportsbook, they give out these promos and people complain when it doesn't come through. But if they're giving you plus money on a team that is like a minus 300 favorite, like that is great value. So it's not about it's not about the outcome. It's about getting the value. And going back to your results for betting, you had value there. So you can't, that's why we're talking about before, and you can't obsess over the results. You got to be okay with your process, snipe the value, and then whatever happens, be okay with it. You know, you can't get too high on the highs and can't get too low on the lows.
Absolutely. And to bridge off exactly what you're saying right now, we got my man JSJ23. I don't know that I've seen you in the chat before, brother, but I appreciate you being here. He asked, what's your connection with Brunson? And that's a perfect bridge, man. Never let your highs get you too high or your lows get you too low. That's from my old wrestling coach, Jamie Gibbs. And he used to coach at UNC Pembroke, home of Derek Brunson. That was his national champion. That was his All-American, one of his absolute studs that came through the program. And I know how serious a coach Jamie Gibbs is and the kind of work ethic that he instills. And, you bring that to all aspects and elements of life, teaches you a lot of lessons, man. And that's one of them, right? Derek Brunson's had a lot of lows. I guarantee that. But he never let them get him too low, and he stayed in the grind. And man, what an impressive performance. I haven't brought it up yet. Let's talk about it, man. This was the best night I've ever had betting on mixed martial arts. And, I'm very happy about that. I put in a lot of time, effort, and energy, right? And I know you do the same. And so it's freaking always such a relief when you get this validation, this payoff that, wow, all the work means something, the time, the effort, the energy, sometimes it pays off. And I like to take small plays on big props a lot of the time. And, sometimes that leads to losing on a given event because you tried to find these angles of value, and maybe they were value even in retrospect, but they don't come through for you. And, I like everybody else does, I second guess myself sometimes. Am I even looking at a value spot here? Am I just betting it to bet it? But, I want to give a shout out right off the top to Ozzy MMA. He does a podcast, Martian MMA as well. Guys, if you're not listening, you're fumbling the bag a little bit. They're really smart guys. They give out free plays, and they're very sharp. So just wanted to give that highlight. He raised the fact that Derek Brunson by sub was plus 2,900 on FanDuel. And I just thought to myself, that can't be right. I was like, there's no way he's plus 2,900 to win by submission against a British striker. This is what I was thinking to myself. And, full disclosure, the last time out, he takes on Kevin Holland. This is Derek Brunson. And he ends up in a very, blood and guts type fight, but he's able to grind it out. And I see in that fight, his jiu-jitsu looks better. He's in top control. He's passing the half guard. He has a head and arm choke with significant control time. So he doesn't get the finish, but he's going against the jiu-jitsu black belt who's actually pretty good at defending the head and arm choke. I think that when we've seen Kevin Holland submitted, it's normally from the back. So he's got pretty good defense for traditional submissions, and he's a black belt. So that time, the submission prop is plus 1,450. Then against Darren Till here tonight, who I would argue doesn't have that good a jiu-jitsu of Kevin Holland, it's plus 2,900. And every other major book is hanging plus 2,200. So I had 0.25 units on Derek Brunson by submission at plus 2,900. I had 0.4 units on Derek Brunson money line at plus 150. I had 0.65 units on the under 3.5 rounds at minus 126. So, I gave out all those picks for free on my show that I did with DFS by the numbers and Bets and Picks MMA, Andrew. So shout out to those guys. Appreciate them coming on the show, and they're very sharp guys, worth a follow. Go check them out and check out their work. All that stuff is available in the description of my last video if you want to check that out. But I also gave that out in my Roto Grinders article. So I really try and put thought, time, effort, and energy. So whether I get these bets and picks right or wrong, I just want you to know that I'm trying to put in the same love, energy, hustle every week. So when it's a good week and it pays off, God bless. And that's what we're always looking to do. But, there's going to be weeks when it doesn't come through too. And, I feel like Socrates, I think it was Socrates said, I'm wise in that I know nothing. And that's how I feel. Every day I try and read a book about this. I try and read an article about betting. I try and read an article about mixed martial arts. I just try and sharpen up because I have been consistently picking fights at like a 59% clip. and not making money betting on fights, or not making the kind of money that I thought I should. So I have been trying to invest more in a betting process to go along with the knowledge of mixed martial arts. And I feel like that's what's starting to pay dividends. We always talk about, it's not about predicting outcomes, right? My prediction was Darren Till to win by knockout in the 3rd round. And I was like, wow, this fight's going to play out exactly how I thought. It's going to look like value on Brunson by sub. It's going to look like value on Brunson on the money line, and it's not going to come through. And then instead we get blessed. He's able to get that takedown while he's rocked. He's done that before, and man, the rest is history. What a freaking night. And all the credit and respect goes to Derek Brunson. I bow down one time to this man. What a night.
Yeah, crazy. It's all about learning and growing, right? Some people, and myself, I used to be in this category as well. They don't want to learn. They think they have all the answers, and they think in terms of absolutes. They think that something could only go one way. When the way to win in this game long term is think in terms of probabilities. Be more open minded. Being closed minded, it's just a dangerous game. You just set yourself up for failure. You just start questioning yourself, like, oh, how could all this happen? I couldn't foresee this other fighter losing. I mean, even with Darren Till and Derek Brunson, I bet Darren Till, but look, my breakdown was, Brunson's a better grappler. So it's no surprise in hindsight that Brunson out-grappled Till, and that's how he won. He could have also landed a big shot on the feet as well, but Till's, the better technical striker, better defensively and faster as well. And so that's why it's good to look at the whole matchup and not just, the guy, the people that are most successful in this game. It's not just about, picks, like you said. Again, you could go off somebody's pick record and, you could judge them based off that. But to me, the thing that's more respectful than just purely picks is, what is your analysis like? Are you actually laying out a path of victory for both fighters? And, are you actually like breaking down the fight, stylistically? Who has a striking advantage and why? Who has the wrestling and grappling advantage and why? Who's got the durability, cardio, all these things? Because it's just so simple and easy and convenient to just go on there and just say, I picked this guy to win by this reason. But people want to know why. People want to know, what is the other path of victory for the opposition? So it shouldn't be a huge shock in hindsight that other outcome happened, right? Just like going into this card, I think a lot of us acknowledge that if Rosa didn't get knocked out by Jourdain, he had a very live chance to win this fight. I ultimately picked against him because I didn't think his durability would hold up, but I also noted in my breakdown that he was longer, he had higher pace, better volume, and as we learned, he was the better fighter. So even though I picked Jourdain, it's not a huge shock to me that Rosa won. So again, you just got to expand your horizons mentally.
I couldn't agree with you more, my man. And I felt the exact same way. And honestly, I don't feel like I'm the smartest guy in the room by any means. Derek Brunson was hanging at bigger plus numbers earlier this week. And you could have got plus 155. I think you could have got as high as plus 162 today on the right book. So, I'm not by any means, thinking like I had this pegged completely. I thought that Darren Till was going to win this fight for a lot of the same reasons that you mentioned. I thought that Derek Brunson was just going to exert too much energy grappling and wrestling him and eventually get finished by the younger, fresher guy. But, the reason I do feel proud of this ultimately is that my analysis was that he was going to have him in control positions, that Darren Till was going to give his back standing. And that's why I felt like the sub had value. That, you see Darren Till's not like there's one thing when you're comfortable grappling. Darren Till has never looked comfortable grappling. And people had raised the fact to me that he had only been submitted once. And I was like, yeah, but we've only seen him like get proactively grappled a few times. So like on a few times, that's not a great percentage. Now, that being said, I was expecting him to have even a little bit better takedown defense than he showed tonight. He showed some decent instincts, like had the right idea on a sprawl. He did a few things in a row defensively that were proper. I want to say in the second round to defend a couple attacks, but I just felt like he couldn't ultimately clear his way out of the clinch and create distance like I thought he would be able to. I thought he would be a little bit more effective with the, I guess it's hard to say he'll be effective with the jab, but I thought he would use it more in this fight because it's a southpaw versus southpaw matchup. So it was an interesting fight though, man. I really thought that the clinch knees were playing a huge factor. I thought that Derek was getting tired as a result of those knees, but man, he was able to hang in there. He's just such a tough guy, and he really wanted it, man. He's just a gritty, tough, hard-nosed veteran that's not going to be turned away easily. And that's why if you're hanging the plus 150 when the Bet Online was down to plus 125 for Derek Brunson. So I was just like, oh, that means the sharpest guy in the room is betting on Derek Brunson right now. So I am trying to get better at reading lines as opposed to just reading outcomes myself, because I have found, less success betting that way. So that's the thing that I'm trying to incorporate more and more, is studying where the lines are, where they're moving, and where the sharp books are taking action at any given time. Because, a lot of these retail sports books, like you talked about FanDuel, that they hang out these props that the sharp books can't afford to hang. So the sharp books, they'll have it for a second and it's gone. But you could see that some of the other books will hang it out there for a while because they're not taking as much sharp action at the book. So that's what I'm talking about when I say we gotta stay on our betting strategy, boys. It is us. That's everybody watching, all the live viewers. Appreciate you guys. Shout out. And that's me and you, AJ. We're the good guys. And we're trying to beat these bookies. They have every advantage. And so we got to work together. We got to be a positive and supporting community as far as I'm concerned. And we got to try and figure out when we win, why did we win, and how can we do it again? And when we lost, why did we lose? How did we lose? And how can we try and limit those? And, I didn't have a perfect night tonight. I was telling you before, I whiffed 1.2 units on David Zawada, and I think hindsight, that was a bad bet. I think it was a good line because I got him at plus 125. It closed at plus 105, but I've never bought a house or a car or a cup of coffee with closing line value. And so as much as I enjoy having it, I'm always looking for those bets that are going to cash as well. I thought Zawada had a better chance than he showed there. Thought his fight IQ would be a little better. I thought he'd grapple a little more. So that was a little disappointing. Did you have any action or any strong feelings heading into that fight, the Morono and Zawada fight?
Not really. I think that Morono was going to win because of his better volume. I didn't think that, I acknowledge that Zawada can make it close. My problem with Zawada is he doesn't really do a whole lot to pull away in fights. I think he's reasonably good enough to hang around and be competitive. But in terms of a guy that could really dominate a fight, I think Morono has more upside there. So that's ultimately why I picked him. And just looking at the stats, I used to be totally ignorant to stats, but I've come more and more around them. They both average less than a takedown per fight. So while it's all fine and good to think that one guy could take the other down, there's just not a lot of statistical evidence to say that that's somebody's going to have a wrestling clinic here. So if I say the fight's going to be contested on the feet, I just thought that Morono was a little bit cleaner of a boxer and higher pace, which funnily enough, he only landed 4 more significant strikes from Zawada. And that's why the stats could be, again, I factor them in, but they could be a little bit deceiving because they don't tell the whole tale of the fight. Obviously, Morono won the battle on optics, and so that's why it's always important to go back and look at film. But they help paint the picture regardless. So I don't think you made a bad bet because, like you said, you got closing line value. And I think that the fight, even though I thought that Morono was going to win, he did it in a more clear manner than I thought he would. I definitely thought that Zawada could maybe make it a split decision or something like that. But I wouldn't get too discouraged by it. Lesson learned type of thing.
Absolutely. And then further down, it was a big night for me because of the Derek Brunson play. Obviously, I think it was 7.5 units or something just on that one submission bet. But I also cashed an 8.5 unit parlay on Jack Shore money line, which that one cruised, in my opinion. I was very happy with that. I got minus 490 on that line. I know a lot of people got a better number, and God bless you for it. I wasn't hip to that line when it dropped at all. But when I saw it hanging at minus 490, it was already up to minus 550 and above on every other book. And I was quite sure that it was going to close market wide around that number. So I got involved there big time because I really like Jack Shore. He's one of the prospects that I've been high on to crack into that top 15, even in a stacked division. And I don't know exactly what his upside is. I'd like to see him shore up that defense, for lack of a better word, because I think his striking offense is excellent. Lands a snappy jab and gets out of the way a lot. And I like that because it's a good way to win rounds and win fights and stay safe. And I like his wrestling entries. I think he's positionally very sound. So I was very happy with that. And also I had the fight goes to decision, which looked sketchy at various points to me in the Molly McCann Jian Kim fight, but I didn't think that we were going to see enough power to really find a decisive moment on either side. And ultimately that was borne out in the end because they really landed a lot of significant strikes and stayed in each other's face for most of the fight. And they weren't able to find that finishing opportunity. So able to cash that parlay as well. That's one of the bigger bets I've laid down on my tracked record. And it's because I felt very confident in it. And that's something I want to do more often. You know, if I feel really confident and I think that I have, plays that I feel are, 80+%, 85+% range of confidence, and I'm getting significant value on the line, I want to be more willing to take a bigger risk on some of those plays. So, obviously want to be selective, but I also don't want every bet to be the same size. If I have a tremendous deal of confidence, I want it to be reflected in my unit sizing. And for a while I had been betting all similar size, and, my really confident bets, I'd come through and be thrilled about it, but it was the same kind of, 1 unit bet every time. And I just wasn't finding that I was maximizing my strong reads. I was just maximizing my poor reads. My poor reads were getting amplified by that. So lessons learned, right? If you're not learning lessons every day, you're asleep at the wheel in this game. So that's what I'm trying to do, man. Stay on the grind and get a little bit smarter, a little bit sharper every day. And trying to do that by listening to guys like you and by doing the right things, staying disciplined, staying on the tape. And we have an off week next week. So we all have no excuse, right? We could get ahead a little bit. We could take a little refresher, a little break if that's what we need. And then we could get right back to it because I've never met a bookie with a part-time job. We got to keep these guys honest. And I feel good about it. Got a lot of momentum now. I actually came off a winning night on the Dana White's Contender Series as well. So going to look to, see if there's any value on that Dana White Contender Series lines. And maybe I'll throw out a video on that as well if I have some strong reads. But I appreciate you coming on, my man. Did you have any other fights or reads that you wanted to get off your chest?
Yeah, always good to be on here. No, I mean, I think we covered the card pretty well. Yeah, no, again, congrats to you. That's awesome. That's definitely something it definitely boosts your confidence. Like we said, I don't want to make it seem like just because I'm saying like not to get too high on the highs, you do subconsciously gain confidence, and there is definitely a lot of positives with having a big night. But then there's also other times where even myself, my ego gets in check. I win 9 out of 10 events, and then now recently I've been struggling a little bit. But again, it's just a friendly reminder. It's a long-term game. It's just one event in a large sample size. It doesn't define you. It's just one little, blemish, if you will, in your betting record. So, and again, big nights are very important. They're always something to refer back to. If you are struggling a little bit in your betting journey, you could always point back and be like, okay, this was awesome. I was on this great run, or in your sake, I had this great event, and be like, I'm capable of this. You know what I mean? So I think leveraging the positive experience with your betting in the right way could pay massive dividends in the long run. And appreciate everybody tuning in, and good luck going forward.
Absolutely, my man. And I wanted to say, I want to take an opportunity to just shout out a bunch of the names of people that are really smart in this space that I learn from on a weekly basis, that I appreciate the fact that they're willing to come on my show, that they're entertaining the fact of listening to my show. And, it's just unbelievable to me. And that's AJ, Z's MMA, James from Lucrative MMA Betting, Marathon MMA. He's running a flash sale right now. Go check it out. I got a good night tonight. Marathon's been having a good couple years. You understand me? When it's long-term, when you could check the graphs, when you could see somebody's a long-term winner, that's something big, guys. And that's what I'm aspiring to be, but that's where Marathon is at. Go tell him Liam sent you. He will bless you. Extra discount on top of that discount he's running on the yearly right now. But on top of that, Martian, Ozzy, Quinn, Narco Cop, who just popped in the chat as I said that. That's crazy. Narco, thank you, brother. I literally just said your name as you said that. Uncle Wheezy, DFS by the numbers. Clint from freaking Die Hard. Dan Tom. Like, I just want to say, I learn every single week from other people in the space. I listen. I am a student of the game. That's what my father told me to be when I was a wrestler, because he didn't wrestle. So he said, hey, be a student of the sport, figure it out. And I'm trying to be a student of this betting game. And so what does that mean? Look at the best, study the best, look at the guys who are doing well on BetMMA.Tips. It's all tracked, right? Go look at that top 50, top 100 list, and you're going to see the names of the guys I just referenced, and you're going to see why, I'm getting a lot of good, smart information. And on top of that, do the work, right? Watch the tape. I invest in independent statistics. Like you gotta grind if you want to win these events. I have learned the hard way that it is freaking, it can't just be a little bit. You got to put a lot of time, effort, energy, and focus into this, because there's a lot of smart people playing this game. And that's why every week I'm going to try and bring it to you guys. I put out my plays every week for free. There's no paywall on my stuff. I appreciate when you support me however you do. That could be liking this video. That could be subscribing to my channel. That could be retweeting the tweets and letting people know about the show, and letting people know what I'm doing, writing for Roto Grinders as well, because I'm damn proud of that article. It was pretty spot on. So, I'm going to keep trying to get better and better every week, and I appreciate everybody's support. It's been an unreal night. I can't thank everybody enough. I think I've gotten 50, 60 Twitter followers tonight, and a bunch of kind messages that I have to respond to. So God bless you all. I hope you enjoyed those fights. I hope that Derek Brunson is having a damn good night. Get that title fight ready, because he's coming. If anybody's asking, this is where my connection to Derek Brunson is. Jamie Gibbs, Baldwin Wallace Wrestling. Shout out Baldwin Wallace. And those guys are a bunch of killers, bunch of animals. I know my boys are about to light it up this year. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for the Ryan Spann, Anthony Smith breakdown that will be coming your way very soon. So excited about this night and excited about the future. Thank you so much to my guest tonight, AJ MMA Betting. Guys, if you check out Prize Picks, throw in that promo code Liam, they'll deposit match you 100% up to $100 deposit. And honestly, check out AJ as well. He puts out Prize Picks content that is very insightful. Help yourself, bless yourself. This man is a very smart guy putting out quality work on a weekly basis. So really check it out. And I appreciate when you do. God bless you all. Have a wonderful rest of your night. And until next time, this has been Liam Picks Fights. We'll see you then.